All right, welcome to the Eric J. the Great podcast show. We got a special guest on the show today. Shonda, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you introducing me to your audience. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Okay. So first off, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and we'll just start from the beginning. So first off, just tell the people where you from and how old are you?
Oh, wow. Ask how old am I? I am 50 years old. Let's get that one out of the way. I'm 50. My dad was actually in the Air Force. So I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but we moved like every 3 years of my life. So I'm kind of a world traveler, but right now I've been in Oklahoma the longest, and it's going on 30 years since I graduated from high school. So I live in Lawton, Oklahoma. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I was stationed out there for 3 years.
Really?
I was
Oh.
out there from 2015 to 2018.
Yeah, I've been here since 1990.
Oh man.
Mhm.
So, what's the first thing that come to your mind when you hear your hometown?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Oh, just family. Like I'm gonna say like 95% of my family still lives there. My mother and father and brother and sister were like the only ones that are not in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I always just think of just family, point blank period. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So, just describe how it was growing up in your hometown for someone that ain't never been there. Just kind of go through some of the struggles you had to go through just being a kid slash teenager.
Well, being a military family, so one of the biggest struggles is having to move around, like move every 3 years. Like some people think it's really glamorous to move around, but you really don't get to. I mean, it depends on your root issues. I study people for a living, so it's like, forgive me if I get too technical, but sometimes some of your root issues can come with not trusting people or not believing that there's going to be a support for you because you're leaving in 3 years. So I struggled to make connections, and I was kind of like a bookworm because of that. Uh, and I was really close to my little brother who was 4 years younger than me because it was just me and him for such a long time. So, but when we did go home and get to see all of our cousins, we had a longing for not being able to have a big family. So to make up for it, I guess now my brother has 10 kids and I have 5. So yeah, we kind of like did our thing to make our own big family. So because we missed it so much growing up.
Okay. So, you had a two-parent household, correct?
hmm Until I was 18, yes. When I graduated, my parents got divorced, but yes, I was raised in a two-parent household. Yes.
And how many siblings?
Now I have two, my brother and my sister. My sister is actually 2 weeks older than my oldest child, so that was weird. But yeah, it was just me and my brother growing up the entire time that I was in the household. So,
Okay. So, just list some activities you was into as a kid. What did you like to do? Did you play any sports or anything like that?
well, I'm 5'9", and everyone thought should be playing basketball, but I never did. I was not very athletic, which is really funny because I'm in great shape now at 50. But no sports. But I did a lot of reading. Actually, I was kind of like a nerd before it was cool to be a nerd and be smart. I did a lot of reading and studying, and I actually did sing. Like to do the recitals in school and things like that. And um, I just come from a different era, so sewing and cooking and all that other stuff, that was actually fun to me. So, yeah, that's, some stuff, but now I think I think I was too shy to do drama, so it's really funny how now in my older years, you lose a little of that awkwardness, so I can see where my drama roots started, like, way back then, but I was just too shy to pursue it, so I just did a lot of studying and a lot of reading, which is pretty good.
So, as far as your family, people that was close to you, uh, did you have anybody that was involved in like TV and film or that type
Mm.
of field producing shows, or you're the first one to kind of go down that route?
I am actually the first one to go down the road, and it's so amazing because I still don't even know why I'm going down the road. It's like, living in Lawton, Oklahoma. You've been here, you know that this is not the best place to start a TV/film career. However, you just have to deal with what the hand you were dealt, and thank goodness for social media and being able to connect with people all over the world through the internet and things like that. Because, yeah, no one that I know of in my entire family is doing anything close to this. And sometimes I wake up and say, how dare I even think that I can do it, to be honest. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So what really led you to going down that route? Would you say that you always had a passion for it your whole life? You just never just chose to pursue it, or is it something that people been telling you like you should do this, but you know,
My bachelor's degree is in criminal justice. So my whole entire life, all I wanted to do was be an attorney or something in the legal field, which is hilarious. And then I guess I get into my mid 30s, and then I start like a lot of the hidden things from my childhood, like a lot of my talents and things started coming to rise up. Things that, like, I'm not going to be Mariah Carey. There's no reason to go try to pursue singing. Those type of things just kept coming up. Um, by this time, I'm working in the prison field. So to say like this was just one of those, I always reference the Fresh Prince, my life got flipped, turned upside down. Basically, I had ended up, I was in child support enforcement. Like I said, I had my bachelor's was in criminal justice. And I announced one day that I'm quitting my job to become a TV news assistant news producer, making $7.35 an hour. And everyone thought I was crazy, and I did too. And I did. I quit my job and became an assistant news producer. Even I was like, why am I doing this? It was just some kind of hidden type of thing. And but I had self-taught myself how to do videos and things like that. So when I say that I was always reading, it's like I do call myself a storylogian. I love stories. I love telling stories, and I'm going to tell a story any way that I can. So right now, video, I'm a visual person. So video and getting deep inside the story, not just doing the typical Hollywood ending. I love exploring stories that are hard that most people don't want to, because you can't wrap them up in a bow. So that's how that came about. It was just something I couldn't ignore it anymore. Didn't know what I was doing, but I just knew I couldn't ignore it anymore. And that criminal justice degree was not working for me anymore. I just was becoming more and more unhappy. And I thought I was having a midlife crisis, just to put a name on it. But I'm like, well, my kids are growing up, so let's go ahead and just go for it. Like, you only get one life. Let's go for it. Reach out, do something. Mhm.
okay, yeah, I can feel that. So what actors, TV shows and movies did you like just growing up in life?
Oh, almost everything. Almost everything. It's like you're a bit younger than me, but like back in my day, we could like go home we were called latchkey kids. We could go home, let ourselves in. So me and my brother were in front of the TV like all the time. It wasn't a bad thing back then. And we would watch like old shows that were in black and white that would come on in the daytime. Um, just any type of comedy. And my brother is hilarious. We would watch all kinds of comedic shows. But when I got really just anything with a story, I love true stories. Like, honestly, I love true stories. So, I mean, you can see that I'm African American, but I loved Sissy Spacek's Coal Miner's Daughter, because it's always telling this. I love the stories about, ordinary people that go on to do things that they didn't think that they could do. So any true story, I'm there for it. I love it. I love them.
Okay. So have you tested the waters a little bit, like dropping like little snippets of shows that you created just to see how people embrace you around the city?
Yes, I have actually be pre-COVID, I was really starting to step out. I mean, COVID took us all, for a loop there. But I actually started doing a one woman show. And when I say one woman show, it was WON, the one woman show, where I would dress up as Bible characters. And I was starting to get some traction on that. But Then COVID came. I had to cancel a lot of the events, and I think my last one was in Oklahoma City, so I had to cancel that one. And then in the meantime, I went back to school and ended up getting my master's degree in spiritual formation. And I'm actually, this is my last semester for my second master's in theology, all to be a better storyteller. And I'm actually working on my doctorate um, in spiritual formation and soul care. So then we come back to um, with the doctorate. I started doing we have to do a dissertation, and one of my things was I'm going to do a documentary on this Bible character that hardly anybody knows about. Her name is Mihail, and I ended up doing the documentary, and it was such a smash. You know, people are asking me now, "Hey, are you going to do any more?" And then I have other people who are like, "The documentaries are serious. Are you going to get back to comedy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all of this is coming. Just let me graduate, and we can get back to it." But no, it's been very it's been received a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a little more because the one woman show's a little edgy and you deal with the Bible characters like sometimes, but that's the thing. I will not do my show in a church, so that way I can have the freedom to explore the Bible characters and talk about some of the harder things that normally are not spoke about in church.
Okay, so you are working on 3 documentaries right now, right?
Mhm. Yes, I am.
And are you gonna have a lot of moving parts as far as like actors and things like that in there?
Yes, we do. With the documentaries, I interview experts, different types of experts, not just pastors, which is like people think that it's like it's definitely not just pastors. Like for my first character, well, she's a woman. I hate saying character because they're real people that lived, and I have a trauma expert that I'm speaking to. I have like doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, CSI investigators. I mean, we go full out. But the beautiful part about it is we do reenact the scenes, which is a lot of moving parts, and I use a lot of local actors that are here in Lawton, Oklahoma, that don't think like you're not asked to act every day. So it's like there's some actors and some very talented people here, and I'm glad that I can be a part of giving them a platform to use their gifts and talents.
Okay. So just kind of go through one by one, each documentary that you have coming, kind of give a basis of what it's around, a name, and like an estimate time frame or when you expect to drop it. Or if you don't know a time frame, you don't have to say one. But
The first documentary is out. I just put that on YouTube. Mihail. That one came out in April. Now I have three more coming. The first one is that I have the most confirmed interviews for is Rispa, and she's a woman who her two sons were put to death by the authorities, King David, and she was so grief stricken that not only were they put to death, they were left outside to just hang there with five other bodies. And she sat outside with her dead sons for 6 months, beating off animals and birds to keep them from devouring the carcasses. Now, amazing story of a mother's love, of grief, trauma. Hardly anyone's ever heard of it. So I'm actually, like I said, I have a few interviews set up for that. She will probably, that documentary will probably be out October of 2023. The next one is Tamar. Tamar is the daughter of David, and she was raped by her half brother. Another sermon that you're not singing hallelujah to in church. So we're exploring that and talking about the victimization of women, the marginalization of women, and getting over that shame that some women that are subjected to violence, domestic violence, sexual violence, some of the shame, and being able having a safe platform to talk about. Now I'm working on all three of them at the same time. It's so I hope that all of them can come out in October 23, but the big one is Hagar. Now this one requires animals. It's a little bit bigger. Everyone knows the story of Hagar, so you have to do it right. The other two, we have actors already in place, but we have to wait until the conditions are right and everything like that. But I know the two documentaries, the first two will be out in October of 2023, but I'm not sure about Hagar because that one I really they're all going to be done right, but Hagar is just you got to do that one right. Everybody knows everyone that goes to church knows that story, so pretty famous that one.
Okay. So, describe your role in the ones that you already have out and the ones that you got coming. Are you being an actor or are you just being the mastermind and just putting everybody in position, or is it a mixture of both?
Mhm. No acting, thank goodness, because I've done the behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. It's a lot of work. So I'm thankful. I've actually the first my first documentary I did all by myself, all the traveling. I went and did all the filming and everything. And I did have some teenagers that were fantastic that volunteered to do the acting, thank goodness. Um, and some other people that did the acting. But this one, these three, even though I'm going to officially, I'll probably be graduated. I'll be a doctor. I'll be Dr. Shonda Carter by these time these come out. I'm really interested in everyone else's perspective, a lot of different perspectives, not just getting mine on film. But I will be doing all of the in-person interviewing. I do write it, produce it, direct it, and I edit it because it's my baby and I know exactly what I want it to be. And because I have done some acting, I'm a very good director, and like when I get these volunteers on set, I go out and I touch on every aspect. I just don't want to be in front of the camera because it's just a lot of work.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I think, I just acted in a movie recently for the first time. I was basically being a security guard and breaking up major scenes in a movie and stuff. And I was just that was my first time being on a movie set and seeing how many times they shoot a scene over and over again. Like I remember one scene we shot it at least 20 times over and over again. I was like, man, this is crazy. We kept hearing the same song on repeat because they had a song playing. So I know, and acting is tough. Don't not trying to discredit, what goes into acting, but with your role, with writing the script,
Mhm.
telling everybody what they have to do. It's almost like a quarterback in football. Like not only he got to throw the ball, he got to know the plays, he got to know what the defense doing, he got to know when to throw the ball, the anticipation of throwing the ball before you get hit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like that's a more tougher thing to do because you could easily, get over stress and over consume yourself with scripts because you hear stories all the time of people losing their personal character because they get so consumed with the character either they're playing or the task that they're doing that they kind of lose themselves a little bit. So
Yeah. Yeah, you're so right. I remember when I knew I didn't want to be an actor. I knew I didn't, but I knew I wanted to explore a little more outside of the newsroom. When I finally left the newsroom, it's a totally different thing. But I was extra. I played a lot of extras in films, and like, yeah, you said like all day long and they redid the scenes over. And then it's like, I'm telling everybody I'm going to be in a movie. And it's like that whole scene got cut. I'm like, we spent like 2 days filming that. And it was just ended up on the cutting floor. But yeah, I was surprised at how much work went into it because I haven't formally studied. So it was good to get that experience. But yeah, there was a club scene that I was in. It was hilarious. I was like, I guess I don't look as old as I am. I was like, why would you cast me like I wanted to be in the church scene. They cast me for some club scene, and I'm like, I had these high heels on. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. This dance scene. I was so like, I cannot do it anymore. I was so tired. Like, y'all don't know how old I am. Y'all little youngsters can keep on going. I am old and tired. And I was like, I don't want to be in this scene anymore. But yeah, so it's like I knew the acting wasn't for me, but um when I do the reenactment scenes, I'm a little easier on the actors because first they're volunteering. So I take a little more work on me to make it a little easier on them. So knowing exactly what I want, exactly what scene to shoot and realizing that they're volunteers. Uh but it's still, yeah, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially the editing process. I've always edited videos together And for me to sit and sat down and have to edit, I had 6 hours worth of interviews, 6 people, hours worth of interviews, and have to cut that all down and put reenactment scenes all into an hour-long documentary. That was some next level stuff. So I just feel like I can do anything after having that experience. So yeah.
So, have you worked with people in the industry yet? And if so, have they lent a helping hand, giving you advice, things like that?
I've worked with a few. No one, that we would say no Tyler Perry, nobody famous like that, no Spike Lee or anything like that. But I've worked with a few people who, and we are, especially in this area where it's not um the norm. We have all been, giving each other advice. And I have to go out to California. I have to go to Los Angeles every year for my doctorate program. And I've been dipping and dabbling, and I have some connections out there with some women in film who have been so wonderful and given me such great advice, and, where to get the fundraising and where to get like actors and, that type of thing. So, but no, I can't name drop today. Maybe by the time they come out, it'll be a different, when the documentaries come out, it'll be a different thing. And I would love to be able to be that person that could help someone else that's thinking about doing something like this. I love the thought of that. That would be great.
So when you first started doing this, just think about your whole journey up to now. What's something that caught you off guard that you didn't think would catch you off guard once you got full-fledged into it?
I'm gonna be honest, the cost. Uh, no idea like it would cost that much. And even when I did my first documentary, because I'm like I can do everything. Um, I still brought it in like it was considered poverty level, but it wasn't considered poverty level to me. It's like people are like, you did a documentary for how much? And I'm like, that cost me like our entire savings. And it was just very but I had to, and people were volunteering. I had a lot of volunteers. So I'm like, oh, I'm starting to see why those budgets are so big in Hollywood, because I had no clue of, but yeah, that cost, that's astronomical. Hmm.
I know it get crazy when you get to the point where you actually paying people like extras and then having to break that down into the budget and things like that. I know that'd be real taxing.
Mm. One of the things I did, I guess I was preparing to do a documentary, and I was listening to Spike Lee on his master class talk about filmmaking. He's like, you can get away with everything, but you cannot get away with you have to feed your crew. So like when people are coming out, so it's like just the catering budget. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Just like, but thank goodness I had some teenagers, and we got away a lot with pizza and sodas. But even still, that like, I just was very shocked. And I know that people don't think about the everyday expenses of that when you're doing a movie. And to shut me up, I was one of them that didn't know it was that expensive. Like, you don't have to spend $1 million to do a film. I can do this. No, if you want it done right, I can definitely see why it is so expensive. So yeah. Still shocked at the price tag sometimes. And I've been doing this and I'm still shocked at the prices of some of the things, even equipment rental. Like I said, the catering, equipment rental. Thank goodness that I have people that love me that will volunteer. But yeah, when you start shelling out money for salaries, we're next level stuff right there. So yeah.
Absolutely. So, as far as your city right now, I mean, I know you know a lot of people around your city. So, is it anybody else in your city that's going down a similar path as you're going down? And if so, like kind of describe, this kind of describe the scene and as far as like, movies and things like that. Like is people really doing that where you at, or you're like the only person that's doing that?
I'm gonna say I'm the only person doing this in this biblical field. I'm gonna say that there's a lot of people that I've connected with in Oklahoma City as far as filmmakers and things like that, and I'm in a group on Facebook. So don't count Oklahoma out, but yeah, here in Lawton, there's some wonderful videographers, absolutely, but not connecting with people that are doing documentaries in Lawton right now. But they Lawton has turned in, they said that they're doing like they're turning into a film friendly town. They're trying to turn into a film friendly town because I know when I went to Cameron, Dr. Matt Jenkins, he's the um, he does movies as well, but he always goes to Texas to shoot because he says it's a lot cheaper. And he does a movie every year. But like I said, just the documentaries, I think I'm so far, I'm not even going to pretend like, oh, it's just me. I'm the only one that I know of right now doing documentaries.
Okay. So, what are your short and long term goals? What do you want to accomplish?
That's an awesome question. Uh, I would love to start have a full-fledged production company. As far as to do, uh, like I said, right now I'm starting out with biblical stories, and that is to show the relevance. Because I mean, I have degrees in soul care and things like that, so to show the relevance that there's nothing new under the sun, that the Bible is still today, like some of the women in the Bible were facing some of the problems that we're having today, especially with some of the laws that are coming out and things like that, and the victimization and things like that. Like that hasn't gone anywhere after how many years that this is. So I would like to be able to, I mean, it's kind of copying Dr. Phil, a safe place to talk about hard things. So I just believe that this platform is a great place to introduce some hard topics. I know even when I had the Mihail screening, I had a discussion board afterwards, and it brought out so many questions that were modern day questions, not just about a biblical character or hearing about just the dominant male character, and just showing that it doesn't matter what your life looks like right now, you can overcome some of the things. And if you can't, there's some help out there, like even introducing the help. So my thing is just to help women, to help people any way that I can. And like right now, this is what I know and this is what I do. And I would like to influence people to do what you know, do what you can do. You can always help. There's no excuse. Somebody out there needs you. And that's what I want to do with with the production company. And I would love to be, and I love to have people um, be able to use their gifts no matter where they live. So if you feel like you're stuck here, there's still a place where you can always use your gifts no matter where you're at.
So the one that you dropped earlier, the documentary, that's the only thing you have out right now, right?
It's movie wise, yes. Mhm. Yeah.
And what was did you have a lot of success from that?
Yes, it's and like I said, I just released it in April, and I've entered 6 film festivals. I got accepted into I think 5, and we won best documentary, two best documentaries, one best message, which I'm very proud of, and best costumes, which was hilarious because me and my sister did all of the costumes. So so I say, like, even though I liked, I like cooking and sewing, and apparently that paid off. My sister's very artistic, and we did creative things on our budget. So to win best costumes, that was pretty awesome. It's a lot of hot glue. They don't know about that, but it looked really good on film. So yeah, I think we have, and like I said, I'm going to be launching that. That was the first of the series. So that one just really introduced what's possible, even with a little tiny budget.
Okay. So for all your fans out there, what do you like doing in your spare time when you're not shooting movies or doing documentaries?
Wow. I I don't have anything that I do besides shoot movies and documentaries. Right now, like I said, I'm in school, being nuts, getting to advanced degrees. So I really just love studying people. And right now, for fun, it's hilarious because I'm just getting all kinds of psychology books for fun. And then, so that doesn't sound very fun, but if you're just wired different, what's fun to you is fun to you. So I just want to be a better storyteller, and that's what I do. I just study that in any way, and take up Right now, fundraising is really fun. It's something I didn't think I'd be doing. So fundraising and talking to different people, getting to know different people, and that's pretty much it. Sorry. That doesn't sound very fun.
Besides the three documentaries that you got dropping next year, do you got anything else coming for the rest of this year or 2023?
For this year, I think my daughter, my grown daughter, is actually talked me into getting back on the road to do my one woman show again. It's already because I mean, it's me, so I can just kind of pick up and go. So I actually got a call from Arizona and they want me to come out and do the show there. So I'm working with that as far as that goes. So I would just love to update all of my fans with, yeah, I'm going back on the road. This is going to be great. So just add some more craziness to my life. Work, work, work. I guess I'd like to work for fun. I guess. I don't know. So yeah.
And I know the feeling that you got right now is kind of the feeling that I still go through right now with my podcast, because it's like I had somebody was talking to me the other day. They was like, you know, your podcast gonna be big, bro. Like, look how fast it's growing, and you got fans. And I was just thinking, I'm like, I really do. I ain't really just think about it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just like, oh, then I had to think about it like all the engagement and things like that. So I know as far as with you, as far as people reaching out to you, let you know that they like the documentaries and the one woman show and stuff like that. I know that had to be a trip at first, especially when people reach out to you, say, "Oh, you're an inspiration," and
Oh,
keep
yeah.
going and things like that.
Mm. Yes, it's really what has been the most is when I started fundraising, like people were actually like, it's not just talk, they're actually financially giving and saying, hey, we want to see more from you. That has been so humbling. Like, wow. Like I was just talking to some friends today, like somebody just donated this and out of the blue. Now we're getting people that I don't know that are supporting. So like that is really like blowing my mind right now. Like I know my friends and family, because I've authored 2 books and people are like, you never talk about your books. I'm like, because only my friends and family bought my book. So it's like when you start stepping out and I'm like, who is this person? I don't know this, like that has been like the most humbling when you know that people really are believing in you or need what you're supposed to do. And I want to make sure that everyone that I come in contact with, you walk away knowing that the world needs you, the world needs your gifts, the world needs that special unique thing that you have. So absolutely congratulations on your podcast. And because yeah, just out of the blue, people are like, you got to get on this podcast. I'm like, okay, but like I did some research and I'm wishing you such great, wonderful success. I'm very happy for your success. You do have fans. Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh, all right, thank you. So as far as I start asking everybody this question, I think it's a good legacy question. So, how do you want people to perceive you?
Oh, I say that's a wonderful question. Sorry if I have to tack on to it because I remembered when they asked Spike Lee this question, he's like, I just want to be known as a storyteller. And it's like, I want to be known as an expert in storyteller, as an expert storyteller. So that's why I have deemed myself the storylogian. Like all this studying I'm doing, you doggone right. I want to be known for telling a great story, but also being an expert at what I'm talking about. So there you go.
Okay. So as far as closing remarks, just say anything else that you want to people to know about what you got going on, and let people know how they can find you on social media, things like that, or if you got a website or things like that.
I would absolutely say a one-stop shop because I'm all over the place. Like I said, I'm one of those insanely creative people. Like I said, I've written books. I do a one-woman show. I've done documentaries. I do funny videos. Some people call me a Christian comedian. All of that stuff, I just like, I don't know. So the one-stop shop that you can find me is shondacarter.com, SHONDA Carter.com. And that's like the only place you can keep up with everything I'm doing because I have so many Facebook pages and Instagram, different things, and I'm a minister as well. I have my own ministry, but shondacarter.com is where you can find like that one-stop shop of this is what she's doing, and it doesn't feel like I'm bragging. It's just you can read what you want, and there you go. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. So I appreciate you coming on the podcast, and I talk about real topics too, not just interviews, police brutality, relationships,
Mhm.
things to do with kids, anything, so anytime you want to come on, hit me up anytime, I reply faster on well, you hit me on my personal Facebook, but I was like, if you hit me on my business Facebook, like the notification don't be going off sometimes. But
Mhm. She didn't give me any information. She's just like, he said DM. I'm like, he said to contact. I'm like, how? And I'm very good at finding people because I have to find people to interview. So it's like, all right. So I just did. Yeah, I got. I don't know. So yeah, I have to like contact, out of the blue. And I tell people like it's really like people are asking me why am I doing three documentaries at the same time? It's like because you really have to like woo and go into a relationship with people to be able to go not only interview, but like I go in person to interview them, like to get invited into their space. So yeah, like if I can find you, I'm just gonna find you. I didn't even know you had a business page, so it's hilarious because my daughter, she don't tell you nothing. Just he said contact him. I'm like, okay, so yeah, but absolutely, I'm glad that you talk about such important topics, and that's what the documentaries are. It's some hard stuff, and it's like sometimes people in my audience that are used to me being funny, they're not ready, but it still needs to be talked about because that's life.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was the main reason I started a podcast, just because I think the mental health aspect is real absent in
Mm,
life in general, but especially among minorities for how we was treated and we just systematically programmed to not address mental health problems. So I just think that having conversations with people from different backgrounds and the same backgrounds can give people confidence in themselves to know that people go through similar things no matter how successful or how poor or wherever point in life they are.
I 100% agree. Absolutely. I mean, my first documentary was about a bitter woman and everybody was like, I don't know why she acts like that. And it's like, well, let's go into her story. And then everybody says, oh, now I know why she acts like that. So I totally agree. And even with the RISPA character, like the her mental state being outside, having her sons killed, you know. And we got some people that are gonna be going there talking about like the George Floyd aspect of it, or police brutality, police killing our babies. So it definitely won't be mild. So thank you for what you're doing. I really appreciate it. So these are topics that need to be discussed. Absolutely. And because I'm Christian does not mean that I just want to say hallelujah. There you go. So it's like I want to talk about these things. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I have another episode talking about things like that, you have to bring you back on.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Yeah. I do much better when I'm not talking about myself, but I know that this is part of the job. So yeah, anytime I would love to. I would love to. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so everybody, this wraps up another episode of Eric J. the Great Podcast. Everybody go support ShondaCarter.com. Go check out everything she has going on as far as her documentaries and movies. Real dope content. And like I tell people all the time, I said this on an interview I did last week, we got to start making our people powerhouses, how we support people of the opposite race. We always rush to the movie theaters to see actors that we've been growing up watching, like the Denzels and people that we probably never gonna meet in person. But we got people we see every day and don't support them, and you can actually touch that person. So we just have to normalize, supporting people that's I wouldn't say on the same level as you, but that's around you in the community and things like that, so build each other up. And so they can be on the same level as those people someday.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That needed to be said. Thank you. I 100% agree with that. You are absolutely right. So thank you so much.
Yep. And yeah, this wraps up the episode, and you have a good night.
Thank you, you too.